be a video that's going to cover the articles page, and this is the part of the website where all the individual posts are presented to our visitors potentially for the first time. So I'm just going to drop back to page 1. The bit that I want to cover off is how the individual posts are displayed collectively. So this is page 1, where it's the 23rd of June. So we're about to start publishing the June edition. Someone has actually started to put some of the posts up, and that's kind of fine. What I want to cover off is how these are now visually presented. So this is page 1 of the articles section, and what you can kind of see from our layout is, because we have a black and white template, and that's kind of a separate issue, what you've just got on the page is you've got kind of the H1 banners from each post, then you've got kind of a little bit of text, and then you've got a lot of white. So it's kind of a very unattractive looking page. And if you just roll down, if you were a visitor, there's kind of not a lot that would kind of make you want to click. So if we click onto page 2, it kind of goes on. Now I've actually made this amend, so this is what I'm going to come and talk about in a second. So what you got, what we've just got is lots and lots of text. So the first thing that you start to become aware of is that the first paragraph that you put in your block is what is presented. So on this one, so this is an obituary here. This is the opening paragraph. We've got a smaller paragraph here, and if we go to page 1, where it's some letters, the first thing that's being presented is Dear Editor. And then we have Remembering Claire Clark, and then the first words that are displayed for this article, so it's in the obituaries category, is Claire Clark, and it says read more. So now we'll start to see, as you become more confident with building a post, is actually what is now going to be presented. So again, we've got another Dear Editor. So we don't have any visuals on this page. As we go down, there's no imagery on this page. So it's all very textual. So let's pick one. So here we've got South Leicestershire Litter Wombles, and there's a link in here, and we've got 2 lines of a sentence. Let's pick this one for starters, and see if we can use this as an example. So here's the actual post. So that's your H1 up here. There's your H1 up there. That's your first paragraph, and that's the first piece of content that's displayed. So where we've had posts where the first paragraph is 7, 8, 9, 10 lines, that's what was shown on the summary, on the articles. So one of the things we can do to kind of, I suppose, liven up that page is there's a feature. So if we now go into edit post, so I'm now going into the design element of how to build the post. So here we are in WordPress in design. There's your H1 header up there. There's your link, and that's the bit. What you can do within a post is, if we scroll down here on the right hand side, we have something what's called set feature image. So this is the image that will actually physically appear on that article's summary. So there is a balance to be struck, because if every post has a featured image, then those pages on the articles, you wouldn't get many articles to a page, and it would just take a long time to get through. So it's a balance between, not every article has an image, so therefore wouldn't have a featured image, and making that balance between what also would be an appropriate featured image. So we've got the thing on the Leicestershire Wombles here. There is an image in there. Would that make an interesting featured image? Possibly, possibly not. But then we've got kind of imageries down here. So let's have a look. If we look into set featured image, so we're in the media library and we need to roll back to see whether or not. So here, if we look at these sections along here, these were some of the photos. Now that one, this one here, was used in the actual article. So was that one. So just as an example, what we're going to do is we're going to pick the legendary red bags. So we're going to take that as the featured image. Now this image, when it was loaded into Media Library, doesn't have any alt text. So let's call it, we'll just put this is the Wombles. And we'll set the featured image. So that is set as the featured image. Now, one thing to note, when you roll up to the top of the article, you actually can't see that article up here. Sorry, you can't see that featured image. So it's kind of a little bit, it's going to appear here when it's actually posted, and it will appear on that article summary. There's an element of trust, and this is where you kind of need to do your previews and your tests and other bits and pieces. So we've picked that as an image, and I'm going to now update it. Okay, so if I now come back to the Chronicles website, get back onto the articles page. Now it was something for the Wombles, so we had, I don't know if it will appear on number 1. Here it comes. So previously there was no imagery on this page. So what we set as the featured image has now appeared here. So as you're rolling down looking through all these posts, there is actually now a little bit of imagery to kind of break it up. Does it or does it not make the article a little bit more exciting? And now if I click on either here or click into the post, it has now appeared within the actual article. So it was a smaller image, it's now gone larger, and I don't think we can actually control the size as what it appears. So this is the featured image. And if you roll down, then there's the rest of the article. Okay, so let's go back to articles. And here again, so we are thinking now about the featured image just to start to break up all of this black and white text. It's our style guide. So, should every post have a featured image? Probably not, because it would make this quite long. And, should the paragraphs be long or should they be short? It starts to be a bit of a judgment call. So this is just a video just to think about. Now that we move beyond how do we actually post an individual post, it's now starting to think, what do those collective posts now start to look like when they start to add more and more value to the website? So here, we have a featured image, and I think it's probably a good style guide really on the obituaries. So we have an obituary for Miss Marjorie Wise, is to actually put their image. So you need to set that as a featured image, and that's pretty much it. So if there's any questions, please do give me a shout. It's something you need to balance, because if everything then has an image, this becomes really quite long. But here we go. For example, this is quite a long paragraph. But for the reader, the Kibworth Harcourt Post Mill, there's actually quite a bit. So if you really were interested, there's a good 6, 7, 8, 9 lines before you click read more. Whereas on some of the letters, some of those other letters said just "Dear Editor," and probably "Dear Editor" is not the thing that we want to appear. Where was it? It was on page 1, wasn't it? So the only line that kind of really appeared was "Dear Editor." Well, that doesn't really kind of tell you too much about what that letter was. So there we go. It's just something to start to think about once you start building up your knowledge building posts. Now we're starting to think about articles. Okay, thank you.